essentially, right, to be, because essentially you're saying that the Father is fully God, the Son is fully God, Holy Spirit is fully God. But to be fully God, it's necessary to be ase, because that's what it means to be God, is to be ontologically necessary.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. Ase would not be a property of the essence. No.
It wouldn't be a property of the essence, because because here's what I mean by ase essentially is self-existent.
Okay.
Okay, so for instance, if we're going to say, that one of the persons is fully God, I guess we have to discuss what it means to be fully God. To be fully God is to not depend upon something external to you, or not, because you're already necessary in existence. Otherwise, like for example, I don't know if you're familiar with Islamic philosophers. They also had that hold that the first intellect is a necessary concomitant that flows from divine essence, but they'd still
Muslim, you gotta do me a favor, dude. Put your speed down to like half. Like slow down, bro. Like you're
I understand what he's saying, but he's not understand.
No problem.
Like for instance, like Muslim, do you know what the eunomian premise is?
No.
Okay. So the eunomian premise basically is what you're doing now. You're saying that because something like a hypostatic property of being unbegotten is not shared with the Son or the Spirit, then therefore the essence isn't shared. But that's a fallacy. That's why it's a eunomian fallacy. For instance, if I say something like, all math, everyone who teaches math in a school system is a teacher. Will you disagree with that?
No, but I think that's not.
Hold on. I'm explaining to you why this is a fallacy. Okay, so if everybody who teaches math in a university is a teacher, what about people who teach social studies or science? Are they not teachers?
Yes, they're teachers.
Okay, but how are they teachers if, so you can have the same essence of teacher shared between different persons?
Well, so essentially what I'm trying to get at here is what it means to be a teacher, right? So the whatness, the liquidity of being a teacher.
No, bro, but that's your argument. Look, your argument is, I'm essentially telling you what your argument is and showing you how it's fallacious. If your argument is the only way you can be a teacher is if you teach math, then what about social studies, science, any of the other subjects? Are they now not teachers?
Yes, I get your response, but I don't accept the analogy itself, and I'll explain why I don't accept the analogy.
Why not? Aseity is not a property. That's what we're explaining. Aseity is not a property of the divine essence.
Right. So then that's what we're discussing here. I believe aseity itself, to be God, right? You have to have aseity. Otherwise, if you don't have aseity, then you don't have necessary existence, because aseity itself is necessary.
No, I just explained. No, I just explained to you, and I gave you an analogy as to why that's not
right.
true.
And I reject the analogy because, as you also agree with me, as you agree.
Watch this. Okay, watch this. Watch this. It's fine. Watch this. I'll give you another analogy, and there's no way that you're going to be able to deny this.
Sure,
because you're talking about essence. Now, watch this. Who did Allah create first?
So there's different views. I come from like the Shi'a tradition, but I believe the first creation itself was an angel.
Okay, fine. Who's the first?
I believe angels are the most.
I'll just make it more specific. Who's the first person that Allah created on earth?
On earth, Adam alayhi salam.
Okay, who was Adam's first son?
I believe it's Qabil.
Who is that in English?
So Abel, Cain and Abel.
Like Seth, Abel, those people. Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
So Seth. Okay, was Adam begotten or was Adam unbegotten?
What do you mean by begotten?
However you want to put it.
I believe Adam was a product of God intervening and directly creating him.
Okay, so Adam was unbegotten, right?
Unbegotten, if you mean unbegotten in the sense that he didn't have a father or mother, then yes.
Okay. What about Seth? Was Seth begotten?
Yes.
Okay. So Adam being unbegotten and Seth being begotten, aren't they both human?
Yeah, they're both human and contingent beings.
Okay, but it's about the essence. So this is why I said this is a fallacy that you're doing. So the essence is shared equally between Adam and his son. But Adam is unbegotten and Seth is begotten. So if we're talking about, if we're talking, I mean, this can easily be applied as an analogy to the essence. If we're talking about the Father being unbegotten and somebody like the Son being begotten, just because the Father is unbegotten, or another way of saying it is paternity or aseity, just because the Father is unbegotten, it does now not follow that they don't share the same essence because the Son is begotten.
Well, difference with the issue I think with that analogy is number one, both of them are contingent, and number two, we count two
It
real
doesn't.
really distinct
It
things.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
So
because
are you
if we're
going to
talking
count
about
two
theology,
gods?
if we're talking about theology proper, or if we're talking about theology economia, it wouldn't matter because essence can be applied to things in creation.
Right, and so essentially, what I'm telling you is that Adam himself, and when we speak about Adam and when we speak about his son, number one, their essence is both contingent, and number two,
it doesn't matter if it's contingent or not. The fact that
let me just finish the sentence. I'll tell you why.
The reason why is because what you're doing is straw man. I need you to hold on a second.
But let me get a sentence here because you've been talking for a while. Hey man, you've been talking for a while. So let me explain to you. And then
You're attacking
So
a straw man.
don't raise your voice, dude. Relax.
Before you explain, Muslim, please stop. Before you explain, can you steel man my argument and then explain how it's disanalogous? Go ahead.
Okay, so essentially what you're trying to say is because in the same way that Adam himself is unbegotten in his nature, and then his son is begotten in his nature, we still say that they share the same nature itself, which is humanity, even though when we predicate unbegottenness to Adam and we predicate begottenness to his son. Is that what your argument is?
Yes, now refute it.
Okay, beautiful. So I'm telling you that the nature of the Father and the nature of the Son aren't the same because the nature of the Father is ontologically necessary while the nature of the Son is ontologically contingent because you can only predicate aseity to the Father, which you both agree with me on.
No.
That's essentially
your problem. Okay, now let me respond. Your problem is that you're attributing aseity to the essence. I just explained to you how that's not the case. Because if aseity is attributed to the essence, then the example that I gave you about Adam being unbegotten and the Son being begotten would mean that they don't share the same essence. If the application works for lower creations, then how much more would it be for the essence? How much more would it be for God? So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. It's a fallacy. This has been refuted ages ago, and you're not dealing with it. You're attributing aseity. You're attributing aseity to the essence, and nothing works that way.
Here, so I'll give this example, right? I accept that when it comes to the essence of humanity itself, you can predicate unbegottenness or begottenness to the essence of humanity. What I'm saying...
Whoa. Hold on. What?
So you're saying that...
Hold on a second. Name a human besides Adam that is unbegotten.
I'm speaking in the realm of possibility. I'm not.
No. I need you to speak in the realm of actuality.
No. It's very important. No, it's very important to draw a distinction here. Like, for example, in the same way I can say, in the realm of possibility, we can have unicorns. So it's not a contradiction.
It's not. No, that's why.
So you're saying God can't create another Adam?
Look, my friend. This is why I said this is not a possibility. It is an actuality.
But possibility also applies. We're going to talk about logical contradiction.
Listen to my objection. Name a human besides Adam who was unbegotten.
Brother, that is irrelevant.
What do you mean it's irrelevant?
It's completely irrelevant.
That is literally the argument.
I'll explain to you why it's irrelevant, because you did ask me what I mean why it's irrelevant. The reason why it's irrelevant is because God can create other atoms. He can directly create other humans.
Okay,
surely you can believe. There isn't I'm saying he can actualize that. Are you saying God can't actualize that? So Adam is...
Give me an example.
Is it logically impossible for God to create another Adam? Simple question.
Give me an example. I'm not talking about...
Are you not getting my point? Like, how much...
Because what you're doing is... Listen to me, dude. Because what you're doing is you're saying that aseity is a property of the essence. And what I'm explaining to you is, if that is the case, then that means that either all humans are unbegotten or not. But since all humans are not unbegotten, It doesn't follow, because even if I'm unbegotten and I am begotten, we still share the same essence.
And I explained to
You're
you.
not understanding the critique.
Here, no, I even told you what your critique was, and you agreed. Here, let me, if I can just get my word in. Essentially, what I'm telling to you is it's disanalogous, and the reason why it's disanalogous, as I already mentioned to you, is because you can predicate unbegottenness and begottenness to human nature. You'll still be a human, but you can't do the same for the divine essence.
That's literally the argument, bro. That's literally the argument.
Exactly. Yes, and I'm telling you that you can have other unbegotten humans.
Okay, hold on a
It's not
second.
contradictory.
Okay,
Hold on, I mean,
wait.
real quick. Let me just Muslim. That's literally what his argument is. That just because you can have a human being that's begotten and unbegotten, and they still will be equally human, it's going to apply the same thing for the hypostasis. A hypostasis can be begotten or unbegotten and still be fully God. It doesn't affect. That's his argument as to aseity doesn't apply to the essence. It applies to the hypostasis.
Yes, bro.
You just granted the argument.
I'm understanding his argument, but I'm just demonstrating how it's disanalogous, and the reason why it's disanalogous.
Doesn't matter if it's disanalogous, bro.
No,
Bro, it
I'm
doesn't.
telling you,
But Muslim, if you conceded already that this is possible for humans.
No. I didn't concede. Let me explain. I did not concede at all.
All right, bro. Go ahead, man. You got like 30 seconds to explain it, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, appreciate you. All right, the reason why it's disanalogous is because I'm saying that you can predicate unbegottenness to humans, and you can predicate begottenness to humans, because these are things which are possible for the human nature. But when it comes to the nature of God, you can't say that God lacks aseity, because what makes God God is his aseity. You can't.
No, it's not.
Okay, so you're saying
what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay, can you yes or no? Can God be contingent?
Bro,
No.
what does that have to do with what I'm asking you? That's a non sequitur.
Real quick. Before you guys continue, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Pause. Because Muslim, you're doing an internal critique. This is why you asked whether we were Eastern Orthodox or monarchical or whatever the case is. When it comes to the way we apply, as far as predicates towards the essence, they're only going to be apophatic predications. So saying that he is ase to his essence, that would be cataphatic. Therefore, we cannot say that his essence is ase. Therefore, according to our worldview, the aseity is only going to apply to the hypostasis, because that's something that we can confirm and we can affirm. His essence is unknowable according to our worldview. So you need to critique from there. So aseity would only be applied to the Father as far as his hypostasis. If you're talking about whether the nature is unbegotten, yes, we can say that, and all three possess those natures. But as far as the hypostasis is concerned, the aseity is only going to be applied to the Father.
All right. So again, I like what you. So I assume you guys believe in divine simplicity, right?
Hold on a second. Wait, before we go to ADS or
I hold to ADS anyway.
Hold on. Before we go to any of that, I do
want to respond to the brother.
Hold on, dude. Before we do that,
Exactly.
he only said that to show you how you're conceding to our argument.
No, sir. That's why I was going to respond to him.
Muslim, stop, dude. Please, man. Is it true that somebody can be begotten and unbegotten and have the same essence? Is that concrete, or is that abstract?
That is true in terms of humans, but it's not true in terms of God.
Okay, now watch this. Okay, now watch this. If it is true of humans, and we're not talking about something that is necessary, because there is the idea of theology proper and the idea of theology economia. But if something is true even of lesser beings, then how much more true can it be possible of greater? This is why I'm asking you the critique. If we're talking about something being analogous or disanalogous, you have to show with certainty in every degree how it is disanalogous. If we're talking about the essence of something, everything has essence, including God. If we're talking about the essence of something, you have to show from that perspective why it is disanalogous, and you have failed to do so.
And I explained repeatedly now for like the fourth time that it's disanalogous because the nature of humans, who are composites of essence and existence, or contingent existence, can have these predications be made of them, and their nature itself is.
So what?
But God's essence
So
And
what?
God's
It's a
God's
hold on,
essence
hold on. So what? It's a stop. The
necessitates
reason
aseity.
why it doesn't work
You
is
you,
because
you
that's
just gotta let me talk, man. Like you can't
stop. Hold
interrupt
on.
me like this.
It's a category error. It is a category error. You're assuming that just because humans are created, that we cannot predicate something like the idea of essence to God. Does God have essence?
No, that's not what I'm assuming at all. Of
That's
course, God
literally
has
what you're doing.
essence, but God's essence is unlike human essence because God's essence is non-composite, while human essence is
All right.
composite.
So
Okay.
hold on. I mean, let me
The
step
point
back
is
in.
about aseity. So what do you mean? So what?
Okay, so Muslim, go ahead. What aseity? When it comes to aseity, what's the issue with everything that we just explained? What's the issue?
Okay, again, just to repeat the point. So the issue is the example he's giving. He's giving about
Forget the
two humans who
example.
share-
Forget the example. I want you to just get
Okay.
right to the argument.
Let's going back to the argument. No problem. So what I'm saying essentially is, if we're going to say that the Father is fully God and the Son is fully God, but at the same time you're saying that only the Father possesses aseity while the Son does not possess aseity, then in reality only the Father is fully God insofar as only the Father is ase, and aseity is necessitated to be for absolute self-sufficiency. Otherwise, so you're conceding that the Son is contingent essentially. To be contingent means you cannot be fully God.
Okay, so that's your argument. Okay, here we go. Now,
Yes.
Here's my response. Okay, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, insofar as their essence, have aseity. When it comes to the hypostasis, only the Father has aseity.
Okay, I disagree with that. The reason why is because
No, hold on. It's not whether you. I don't care if you disagree with it. You're a Shia.
obviously don't care
Hold
about me
on, bro.
saying
Hold on. I just want to be clear because I don't want you to go on a tangent on to why you disagree with it. Let me be clear. I don't care if you disagree with it. You're a Shia
You don't
Muslim.
want me to explain
Hold
why it's
on,
wrong?
brother. Hold on. I don't care if you disagree with it. You're a Shia Muslim. Of course you disagree with it. I want you to point out what's wrong with it.
Exactly, yeah, essentially. Disagree with it, what's wrong with it? It's kind of like synonymous. Anyways, well, I already mentioned to you what's wrong. You didn't really respond. Like, you just said, hold on, and then can you respond to what I said?
What would you say?
The reason why it doesn't work is
Can I talk to one person, please? So let me talk to the
I mean,
brother.
hold on. I got. Hold on.
I'm also
Me and Amin are going in circles. I think
No,
it's
no,
fair.
we're not going in circles. You are. You're
No,
assuming.
because I'm
You're
repeating the
assuming
same
that
thing,
just
and then you go back
because
to this analogy.
you're assuming.
Even your Christian brother was like, let's ditch that example.
No, hold on a second. Muslim, that had nothing to do with his example was perfect. You actually, without realizing, just conceded to it. But you keep
Exactly.
keep
sir,
dancing.
I was showing-
Hold on
I
a sec.
was showing-
Listen, brother, listen. I'm trying to go with you so that we don't go around in circles. But you are getting upset because Amin was jumping in and stuff like that when you're talking. Now you're doing it to me. So I let you speak. I let you explain the argument. His analogy was perfect. You already conceded to it, and you're just trying to dance around it. So now I wanna go down this argument with you and let you go down the argument. I still want to show you how you're being inconsistent. So what exactly did you say that is the problem with what I said?
Okay, so the problem with what you said is precisely this. It's that when you talk about the persons themselves, you're saying that only the Father possesses the property of being ase. But I'm telling you that each person is fully God and fully distinct from the other person. But when we're saying fully God, when we're saying that each person is fully God, to be fully God is to be ase. So you can't say that they share the same nature itself, because only one person is fully God. And the reason why I'm saying this is because aseity is necessitated. To be ase is to be fully God, because aseity is absolute self-sufficiency.
Okay. Now, you do realize that as Eastern Orthodox, we do hold that the essence and the hypostasis are distinct, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So insofar as the essence, if you're going to say self-existing and all those properties that you want to apply to God, all three possess those properties because they possess the same identical nature. When we're talking about aseity, as far as hypostasis, only the Father has that property. That's why they are three distinct persons, because they don't share all the same properties. Now, what's your response? Now, what's incoherent about what I just said?
Okay, so the incoherency here, as I've been repeatedly saying, time and time again, is that if you're going to say, okay, then only the persons in their hypostasis are distinct and share these distinct hypostatic properties, but when it comes to the essence, they're all the same, then how doesn't it collapse into each person being identical to the other?
Because they have distinct properties according to their hypostasis.
Okay, so and this distinct. So if they have distinct properties when it comes to their hypostasis, then how are you not counting three gods in this case when it comes to the divine?
Because they still possess the same identical divine nature. That's why.
Okay, so they possess the same identical divine nature, but they possess distinct hypostatic properties. But my question here, and then you're saying that each. So we have three essences, and each essence itself.
One essence. No.
Okay, one essence. So how then does this not collapse into them being one per?
Because
one
they're
three different modes?
Muslim. There's two different. Okay, here's how we're going to do this. Okay, there's two distinct categories. In your arguments, you keep conflating the two. You keep collapsing the essence and the persons together. After you agreed that we believe that there's a real distinction between the hypostasis and the essence, right? You do agree to that, right? Okay, good. I know you don't believe it, but what I'm saying is you do understand that that's our worldview. Okay. So in order for you to not keep collapsing essence and persons, let's just do one category at a time. Now, if we want to talk about the essence, if your question is, according to the essence, is the essence unbegotten? And if that's what your question is, then yes, the essence is unbegotten. That's what it is. It's unbegotten. Okay, now what's wrong with that? Is there any confusion there?
So now we've left the point about discussing, the.
No, we're actually simplifying it right now because you keep actually, whether I don't know if you're doing this on purpose or if you're not unaware that you're doing it. You keep collapsing after you admit that the hypostasis and the essence are really distinct according to our worldview. You keep collapsing the two. So in order to assume that you're coming in good faith and you're not trying to do that by being disingenuous or sneaky, I'm going to help you by putting a category. We're going to go one category at a time so that you don't do that. So we're not talking about the hypostasis right now. We're only talking about the divine nature. As far as the divine nature is, yes, just the essence. It is unbegotten. Okay. Do you have an issue? Do you have an issue with that? I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just talking about the essence.
Okay, the essence itself is absolutely simple, one, and indivisible.
Not absolutely. We don't believe in ADS. We believe in just divine simplicity.
ADS they're the same thing.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. Absolute divine simplicity is a different doctrine, but we do believe he's divinely simple, not made of parts. If that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay. Do you believe the knowledge of God is identical to his power?
Those will be predicated to his energies, not his essence.
Okay, but at the same, I guess. So you're more like are you more like a Neoplatonist? So you reject?
No, not a Neoplatonist at all. No, I'm just telling you, according to the Eastern Orthodox view, God's knowledge and his power are attributed to his energies, which are also distinct from his essence. So we're just talking about the essence right now. It's unbegotten. Hold on, bro. Hold on. I don't want to move from here because you keep going into different categories, and I'm telling you, I want to simplify this. So, do you have an issue with me saying that the nature is unbegotten as of right now?
Okay, so of course, God's nature itself is unbegotten.
Thank you very much.
When we're talking about the essence, when we're talking about the essence, qua essence itself, do you believe that the persons themselves all subsist within the divine essence?
Correct. Yes.
Correct. Beautiful. So they all subsist within the divine essence. Now, are they mutually distinct? Are they conceptually distinct or really distinct?
They're really distinct.
Okay, so then you've divided the divine essence into three really
distinction. Distinction does not mean division, bro.
Distinction does not mean division. So what is that? What is the reality of their distinction?
It's just a contrast. They have contrasting properties according to their hypostasis. That's what makes them distinct. That doesn't mean they're divided.
We're then back here. And the contrasting properties. What are the contrasting properties?
The contrasting. Okay, good. So now, hold on. Just pause right there. Now we're going to put the essence to the side because we're only talking about persons now. Hold on. Muslim, please be quiet. I already told you what I was doing and you agreed to it. Now you don't want to do it because now I'm starting to think you're being disingenuous. I already said we're going to talk about the essence first and then we're going to talk about the hypostasis. Yes, the hypostasis subsists within the essence. However, we're going to talk about one category at a time because remember, I'm assuming that you came in good faith. You're not being disingenuous. You're not going to collapse the two. So now we're going to put the essence to the side. We're only talking about the hypostasis. Now, what's your argument with the hypostasis?
That's why I kept saying it's a category error.
We're jumping back and forth. Like you were.
I know. I did that. I know. I'm doing it on
purpose.
I'm doing it on purpose so you
Thank
don't collapse the two. So now the essence has been dealt with. Now let's talk about the hypostasis.
No,
What's
sir,
the?
essence has not been dealt with.
Yes, it has been dealt with. What's the? Okay, let's. Okay, good. All right, no worries, no worries. Let's put the persons to the side now. Let's go back to the essence. What's the issue with the essence?
Excellent.
What's the issue with the essence? Yeah.
When it comes to the essence itself, I'm clearly showing you how the persons themselves subsist within the essence. I'm not talking about the hypostatic properties. I'm talking about the persons subsisting in the divine essence itself. You can't separate the persons from the divine essence.
I'm not saying they're separate. All I'm doing is as far as discussing, because they are not separate, but they're really distinct. We're talking about it one category at a time. So we're only talking about, and I'm not going to mix the categories, although normally I can, and normally that's okay to do. But because I'm starting to think you're being disingenuous, because because you're trying to collapse the two. I'm going to go ahead and go one category at a time with you. If you don't like it this way, then you can kick rocks. This is bottom line. So we're talking about the essence. What is the argument against the essence? Go ahead.
Okay, the essence. Because if you talk about the essence, you have to talk about the persons.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Yes, you do. So
no, I don't.
Ignore the person because you're like, okay, well.
No, I don't. I don't.
Person, so I'm not gonna
What's the argument that I have to talk about one or both of them at the same time? What's the argument for that?
The persons themselves, which subsist within the divine essence, right? You conceded and you accepted that they're really distinct. So I'm asking you, what is the real distinction that they possess?
What, as far as the hypostasis and the essence?
I'm talking about them subsisting within the divine essence. What differentiates them?
What differentiates the persons within each other?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we're not talking about the essence anymore. Okay, here we go. So essence is not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Essence is put to the side. Essence is put to the side. Now we're going to talk about hypostasis. Hey, you agreed that we're okay with doing this. If you're not okay with it, then we're going to move on.
Yes, but then you keep on shifting from here. You know, it's like we're tap dancing here.
Muslim, this is so simple. The reason, the reason, no, you're not getting it. The reason why things like, hold on, listen to me, please. The reason why things like being begotten, spirating, the reason why those things are not properties of the essence is because they are properties of opposition. This is how we know the distinction in the person of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But it does not logically follow that because there are properties of opposition, that the Father, the Son, and the Spirit cannot equally be God. And you have yet to describe that. You haven't given us any examples.
Excellent. And so they're opposing relations. Let's go with that. They oppose each other within the divine essence. Is that what you're saying?
No, bro. This is why we're not. Bro, this is exactly why I said we're not going to talk about these two things at the same time. Because you're purposely, like a stupid little dog, trying to collapse the two. You're a freaking idiot, dude. Get the hell out of here. Freaking lying, deceiving piece of crap, dude. Literally did exactly what I said don't do. And he collapses the two. We're talking about a hypostasis specifically. And then he goes, well, see, there you go. They have opposing properties of the essence. He literally does the same exact thing, trying to sound like Khalil Adani, bro. It's the same spirit, dude. Like, the Shias all sound the same or something? Like, bro.
It probably was Khalil Adani.
It probably was him.
Look, guys, this is so simple, right? The reason why, and I actually didn't even come up, I came up because of the last guy. I wanted to explain what passibility and impassibility was because he wasn't getting it. But then I got a phone call, but then that guy came up. The reason why this is so simple, I'll just briefly explain it. The reason why it's a category error, what he was doing with the essence and being begotten and all that stuff is because putting a premise into a syllogism is a syllogism. It doesn't mean that it has to be applied one-to-one, or it doesn't mean that it can't be applied to lesser things when we're talking about creation. For instance, his argument was this: exclusivity of whatever. Like, he's saying exclusivity of deity is only for the Father because the Father is unbegotten. But that's a premise. That can be applied to anything. So, for instance, if I say exclusivity of X, I can literally input X into anything. So this is why I gave him the example with the teacher. Exclusivity of being a teacher. If we put that into a simple syllogism, premise one, only those who teach math are teachers. Premise two, there are those who teach science. Therefore, those who teach science are not teachers. Do you see how that doesn't logically follow? All you have to do is discredit or attack one of the premises, and then the whole syllogism falls apart. The thing would be unsound. Premise two, you're going to attack premise two. Naturally, you can apply that same logic to aseity. And this is why I kept explaining to him aseity is not a property of the essence. This is a eunomian premise. This has been dealt with centuries ago. Because if I say, actually, against eunomians, if I say something like, okay, and this is why I gave him the example with Adam, and this is the example where I gave him the example with Seth. Adam is unbegotten, but Adam's first son was Seth. Is Seth now not human because he's begotten? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Nobody would believe that. But because it's a set of premises in a syllogism, it can be applied to anything. And they don't realize that they're conflating. And they do this on purpose.
No, he's doing it on purpose. And if it was, and I'm trying to see if somebody could check, his name was just Muslim. But I'm like, he sounded like Khalil Adani. And honestly, like, oh, there he is right there. Hold on. Hey, are you, like, come back up, actually. Just want to know. Just before, so I can do something real quick.
Hello.
Oh, hello, my love. Sorry.
Hey, good morning.
I got heated. Muslim, request back up.
I do have to go to work.
Are you Khalil? Are you Khalil?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, our voices are very different too. But I have to go to work. Maybe we can discuss another time.
Yeah. So, bro, at the end of the day, like, I told you that we're not going to collapse the two categories, and you continue to do the same thing. Like, you continue to go ahead and collapse the essence and the hypostasis. So you're not actually granting us our worldview when you start to critique it.
Like, I guess we can continue the discussion another time. You know, I don't want to keep talking past each other. But like I said, I do have to get going to work now. But you know, I'll be back. I'm sure you do lives all the time.
All right.
And yeah, but I'm not Khalid.
All right.
He's the neo player.
Yeah. All right. See you later. Anyways. Yeah. I mean, yo, it's just insane. Like, when I made it super. I mean, I don't know how much more clear I can make it. I gave him opportunities in good faith to explain or whatever the case may be. And we're gonna go one category at a time. Oh, that's fine. But then all of a sudden, when he gets to his argument where he wants to present some sort of problem, he has to collapse the two. And it's always the case, guys. Like, when it comes to LPT, we're gonna collapse persons and natures every single time.
That's why. So look at him. He's a Thomist. They start with a different starting point for their metaphysic than we do. That's why.
A Shi'a Thomist is crazy.